We welcome in Coach James Howard from Georgetown. We'll do an opening statement from Coach, then we'll open it up to questions. Again, we have a wireless microphone, so if you could raise your hand, wait to be acknowledged by the table, we'll get the wireless microphone over to you and you can introduce yourself to ask your question. But first, opening statement from Coach.
Yes, tough night tonight out there. We definitely got the best of UConn, and I think their defense off the bat really took us out of some of the things we wanted to do, work inside out. And they shot the ball well, and we didn't. So that was a big piece. And then once you get down, they want to continue to come. And it's one of those games you hope you learn from, and we got to take it, and we go from there.
All right, questions for Coach. Again, raise your hand. We'll get the microphone over to you. We'll start right here over on the left with Dom.
Coach, you've seen UConn a couple of times before. The games were close. Having FUD on the floor or as part of the equation, how does that change what they do and what you have to do to defend them?
Well, I think it gives them a lot more energy. Whenever you have a player like AZ Fudd back out there, you talk about All-American. A kid can score from all three areas of the floor: pull-up jumper, get to the rim, shoot the three. Also, make our teammates better with the ball in their hands. So, when you have AZ, you're talking about Final Four type of team now. The chemistry, the flow is just a lot better.
We'll go right here in the front row.
Coach, can you just reflect on the season and where you are in terms of where you want to be and what you think, how you think things will be going?
Yes. When I look back on the season, I felt like there was a few games out there that we left that we had the opportunity to win, and we didn't. So I thought that this year I was really looking at probably about an 18-game win this season with a young team and only having one senior. Grace Ann Bennett still has that year of eligibility. Those building blocks. And we came up short on probably four of those games to get to 18. But I like the youth of this team. Now it's about the development of the youth in this team going forward, along with adding a couple of more pieces. I think the grit is there. I think we showed that this year against some of the better teams in the Big East Conference. Now it's about taking the next step. But there are a couple of pieces that we will add that will help us try to get above the top 5 in the conference.
And Tim, right here in the front.
Coach, speaking of Grace Ann, when her and Christina came off the floor, obviously they were very emotional. I mean, what were you saying to them as they checked out? And as a follow-up, what did you think about your pep band's tributes as they checked out, especially with the Aussie, Aussie, Aussie for Christina?
Yeah. Well, you just want to give those two young ladies their last time out there on the Big East floor. Now, again, with Grace Ann still have a year, but you never know, because this young lady is one of the brightest young women I've ever met, and she's going to get great opportunity at Fortune 500 jobs and stuff like that. If she chooses to come back, which I think she's leaning that way, she'll be a great piece for us. But we wanted to recognize her just in case she didn't. Okay, and I thought our pep band did a great job in having Christina Moore for 1 year. As I told her in that locker room, it's like she's been with us for 4 years. She brings so much love and passion and laughter to this team. A veteran. So Aussie, 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 for all the things that, she have done for us. I think our pep band was able to just give her last, farewell song from Georgetown women's basketball.
Okay. Anything else for Coach?
Good.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
distributed. If you're on Pam's media list, she should be sending those out. Start for questions for either AZ or Aaliyah. Again, raise your hand. We'll get the microphone over to you. We'll start with Dom over here on the left.
Az, when did you know for sure that you were ready to play today? When was the decision made? How was it made? How'd you feel when you woke up this morning figuring you were going to play?
Well, this was always my goal, was to come back for tournament time. So I'd been working up to it this last week at individuals practice. So I was mentally prepared, and then waking up this morning, I was very excited.
We'll go right here in the front row. We'll get the mic over to you. You can pass it down, please.
Az, what have these last couple of months been like for you, both emotionally and physically, as you worked towards getting back?
It's been tough having to be on the sidelines so much, having to watch everyone struggle through all the ups and downs we've been through. But that was my motivation, just to keep working hard. My goal was to get back on the floor. So every day, working hard in rehab, doing what I need to, all my extra stuff, hoping that I could get back here at the end of the season with them.
Right here in the front right.
Az, what were the expectations you had for yourself, and were you just patient when you missed the first few shots, knowing that it would come eventually as long as you've been off?
Yeah, I was really nervous kind of leading up to it, thinking like, this is my first game, like, am I going to do well? But then I remember this is my first game, so I wasn't worried. I knew that I've been doing well, so kind of just have confidence in all the work I've put in, and not to overthink it, and what happens, happens. If I miss, I'll make the next one.
Third row on the left.
Aaliyah, this was your guys' first game, but not finishing within single digits of your opponent in the past 10. How does that feel, just to have that more wiggle room now?
I'm gonna pass this question off to AZ. No, I'm playing. No, I think that it was a great first game for us. I think that we stuck to the game plan defensively, and we flowed offensively off of their turnovers and off of our defensive rebounds. So I think that was a good flow for us, especially coming in for our first game off a big break for us, and I think that we can only learn from this game.
Az, whenever you shot, and even though you missed the first few, like, the crowd kind of seemed like they were holding their breath, waiting to be able to give you that reception that they felt like you deserved, and then finally making those back-to-back threes. What did it feel like getting that reception from the crowd?
The crowd is always amazing. The fans here are great. So just getting to be there, be in this atmosphere, in this environment with everyone, I mean, it's a great feeling to hear everyone scream. But then also all my missed shots, Aaliyah rebounded, so it's basically like I was making it anyway.
Here in the third row again on the left.
Aaliyah, you guys held Georgetown under, 10 points in the first quarter, the fewest you guys have allowed to a team in, 2 months. Just what was the emphasis in terms of setting the tone defensively early, and how did that carry over for you guys into the rest of the game?
We wanted to come out and compete and be competitive and make sure we took the first punch, and I think that's what we did in the first quarter, and then it just lasted throughout the 40 minutes, and I think that we just need to keep up this intensity, both defensively to help with our offense and to keep being aggressive as we are.
Front row, Tim.
AZ, did it kind of feel full circle for you to come back today against Georgetown, the team you had, last played against before you had gone down again? How did it feel, once you got that first shot down, did you feel like you were back in rhythm, back to your, yourself when you were back healthy a couple months ago?
Yeah, I did. I actually feel better now than I did the last time we played them. So it was nice to be back on the floor against the same team and get that little rematch.
Back here again in the third row.
Aaliyah, today you were named to the national ballot for the Wooden Award. I know we talked yesterday about where you feel like you've improved the most, but where do you feel like you've learned the most this year?
I think that I've learned the most about just through all the challenges that we face as a team. I think everyone's having that next man up mentality, and there's a lot of positions where I had to be that for my teammates, and I think I kind of just took that responsibility and that accountability for myself to help better myself and for the team. And I think that I'm just proud of how far I've come here, but we're not done yet. We still have 2 more goals that we're trying to accomplish here for the rest of the season. So I'm just happy to be here with my teammates and to be successful.
We've got 2 questions here in the front row. We'll start front right, and then we'll go front left.
Aaliyah, emotionally, can you explain what it means to the team to have AZ back? And then just from a game perspective, the spacing on the floor and all of that, what it means to you guys down low to have her back?
First, emotionally, I think that we all just took a breath and we're like, okay, we're kind of going into the right footsteps of being a complete team again. And I think everyone was happy to have her on the court because it was going back to our first game of the season when we felt that we were, everything was clicking for us and we were on to have a great season. But, AZ coming back, I think she adds a lot to the team, both offensively and defensively, and it showed tonight. And even though it took her a couple of shots to get into the rhythm, she did knock them down eventually, which we all knew that she would.
Front left here.
AZ, you said you feel better than you did last time you played these guys. I mean, is the knee just much more stable at this point? How do you feel better? Are you in better rhythm?
All around, just my knee, my confidence, and just playing with my team like the last few days in practice felt really good. Our chemistry, our flow, everything, it just felt like everything was clicking.
Anything else for the athletes? Okay, ladies, we'll let you go to your next destination. Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll take a second here and we'll get reset for questions for Coach.
AZ's is worn out. I want a fresh one.
All right, raise your hand if you've got a question for Coach, and we'll get the microphone over to you. We'll start here in the front row on the right, and then we'll work it around. So we'll start front row.
So, Coach, you had 10 players to start the game, and then Caroline goes down. Just kind of seems the way the season's been going. Do you know how she is and what that means for going forward?
I've never seen a kid have the circumstances happen to her that she's been under. It's just you almost want to laugh about it, even though it's not funny, that it just continues to happen. And I don't know what came out of it. I think we'll know more later today, tonight, tomorrow morning. But, Carol said she wants to play tomorrow. And, right now we're going under the assumption that she will, unless we find something, to the contrary tonight or tomorrow morning. She's a magnet, man. She's got a head. Her head is a magnet for elbows, especially Aaliyah's.
Anything else for Coach? I think we had a question on the left, and then we'll work it back around. Do you have a question there? I saw your hand up.
Gino, this was your, guys' first double-digit win since January. Dominated from start to finish. AZ was back. Just kind of how re-energizing, was it for you guys to start with postseason like this?
The first game of the tournament, is usually just kind of get your feet wet, get acclimated to postseason play. It's the first game that you play all year long where it's one and done. And you haven't, you usually get 5, 6, 7 days off, whatever the case may be, and you're working new people in. So it's never smooth. It's never, flawless when you play that first game. Very rarely is it. And I thought there was a 20-minute stretch there, if you add it all up, where I thought we just played great at both ends of the floor. We did what we wanted to do defensively. We got the ball out in transition the way we wanted to. We found the right people. We made the right decisions. And it helps when, you have people that they have to guard and the ball's going to go in more times than not. So the final score really wasn't really important. You just want to get your feet, get your wind, and get your legs back, and get ready for tomorrow. That's basically it. And try to get some bodies out there and get some rest when you can. And so I feel like we accomplished most of that.
Tim, right here in the front.
Gino, first half, Georgetown was just 12 points, 5 of 36 from the floor. How impressed were you by that first half defense? How important was it to set that kind of a tone for that first 20 minutes?
Everything starts there. It always has. And anytime our defense is as good as it was, it's followed very quickly by really, really good stuff offensively. And when your defense isn't what it was in the beginning of the game or throughout most of the game, it affects what happens on the offensive end too. So, again, I think the players realize this is postseason play. Every possession, matters. And we did a tremendous job of executing the game plan. We didn't make very many mistakes defensively. And, the last month, there's been a lot of that, a lot of mistakes at the worst times. But today there weren't any that mattered. And if we can do that again tomorrow, play the same kind of defense against either one of these teams, they both score a lot of points, both of these teams. I think it'll give us a chance to do offensively similar things to what we did tonight. Not that we were great on offense either, but we were better.
We'll go here front row on the left, and then we'll swing back on the right front row.
Gino, you said yesterday it isn't fair for anybody to expect AZ to do what Paige did last year, lead you guys to, a championship game. But when you see her go out there and she says she's feeling good and she makes a couple threes, do you feel like, that kid could still make a pretty impressive impact for us?
I don't know that anybody on our team can have the similar impact that she can. So you're adding someone that she's going to play good defense. She had 4 assists today, and she's going to make shots. So the impact that she's going to have on the team is, you can't calculate the meaning of that because it's just everything. And as Aaliyah said, the confidence that the rest of the team gets knowing that she's out there. When when you're talking about a player that good at that many things, you benefit from it because she's so skilled, and the other team knows it, so they have to change their defensive approach. And so I always said that if we didn't get AZ back and Caroline, if we didn't get the two of them, that it was going to be a short postseason probably for us. What that means, I don't know, but I think having AZ and hopefully having Caroline, I think gives us our best chance to, to go far, and not just this tournament, but the next one.
Over here down the line in the front row.
Gino, I know AZ's impact is immediate. How much will that impact be kind of fine-tuned moving forward? Does it take a little while for a player and a team to get used to one another? Again?
It does with most players. I said in the locker room, it didn't go over too well. I said in the locker room that, the first game is just kind of like find your way. I said, you all remember last year, when Paige was trying to come back and she was coming off the bench in the Big East tournament. And I said, and she ruined everything for everybody, and we were rolling, and then she came in and screwed it all up. And naturally, she had to tell me that we won that first game by 40 or something like that. And she didn't look like herself one bit. So I didn't expect AZ to come in and have a huge impact. I expected exactly what we just got, How will that change going forward? It's only going to get better because all her talents and all her skills, they fit perfectly with what we do. And we haven't changed what we do, even though she wasn't in the game for the last however many months. So she just steps into something that's very familiar, very comfortable, and doesn't have to relearn anything at all. And as long as Nika still knows where she is on the floor, we'll be good to go.
Second row on the left.
Hey, Coach. Just wondering about Aaliyah. She was honored with Most Improved Player. Can you talk about some of the specific ways she's improved this season and how that's impacted your team?
She's been more consistent. The things that we wanted Aaliyah to get better at. I think her conditioning has been way better. Her ability to sustain a certain level throughout the entire game has gotten better. Her approach to the game, I think, has improved. And that's not even talking about, she's shooting the ball better, she's finishing around the basket, she makes her free throws. I would think that most players, make those incremental improvements as they go along, and these were the things that Aaliyah needed to improve on, and she has. And she needs to keep doing this, not just for this month, this weekend, this month, but throughout this summer and going into her senior year, where she needs to take, there's even another step or two for her, which, will make her one of the best players in the country.
We got time for one more here, third row on the left.
Aubrey continues to play with such aggression. Was there a time when she was getting her back surgery where you were kind of curious of what she would look like as a player afterward?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're dealing with someone's back, there's always fear. Number one, will she ever be back and be able to do the things, and how much will she have lost? And I think that's been put to rest. She was able to come back, and you saw flashes and examples of what she used to be before the surgery. The one thing that may be different that, is that there's too many lulls during the game, so, and even game to game. So during the course of the game, she'll be like on this trajectory, and then she'll disappear for a while. And then the next game, she'll just explode the whole 40 minutes. And then the next game, it's a struggle. So how much of that is, related to that, and how much of it is you just haven't played basketball in a long time? But, you take her season as a whole, and I think she's had a great year considering. If anybody's ever had back problems, I mean, it's just not the easiest thing to come back from. And again, she's another one that if we can get her to be more consistent game to game, within the game, and keep her confidence level up, we have to have her. So we don't have a lot of those Aubrey types. So same with AZ. Like, we need AZ because we don't have a lot of those. And we need Aubrey because we don't have a lot of those. And I think the less minutes that she plays, the more rest she gets during the course of the game, I think the more that's going to help her. Now that we can sub in and out, she don't have to go 40 minutes every night,
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
I was looking for a sub myself a couple times. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.